Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. Hey, yo, I just finally watched the episode. It came on 2 days late. I had no idea that's what Paramount does, but whatever. This episode is brought to you by the Rick the Dawn podcast. Show some love and check it out. So was Heidi cheated? So I don't know how everyone feels, and this is where things get really interesting because I really don't know how people feel. How do you feel about the winner? And my brain is telling me that there's people who are on the right side of this whole thing and on the left side of this whole thing. And it's going to be very interesting to read the comments and also just look around the survivor hemisphere to see where people will land on this. And, unfortunately, I'm only accountable for myself and I can only hear my own thoughts. So if you're watching this video, do me the smallest favor, and it's really one of the smallest favors of all time, and let me know what you think. I know a lot of people watch these and they just kind of like going about their business, but whether you like my channel, whether you're invested in what I do, I don't even care about that part. I'm genuinely concerned and genuinely curious about what people thought. So don't leave this video without leaving a comment, please. Okay, I'm asking. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm asking you because I'm genuinely confused. Okay, let me tell you why I'm confused. I saw Yam's gameplay, Jam, whatever his name is. I saw his gameplay. I saw Carolyn's gameplay. I saw Heidi's gameplay. I've been watching Survivor since season 1. I just saw Jam win season 44. I get why people would choose him to win. I get it. I get it. He's charming. He's someone who makes you laugh. He's a nice person, a good person even. I get all of that. But here's what I don't get. What did he do this season that nets a win? Help me understand. All right, so here's where I think a lot of people will land. They'll either say Yam deserved it. He was a great player. He was a great person. He swayed every vote. And to his credit, everybody who voted for Yam to leave actually went home. So there's evidence that Yam played a good game. There's evidence all over the place. Like, seriously. But I'll be honest. I'll be upfront with you. I did not see Yam winning this season. And I want to know if I am tripping. And in our culture, when you're tripping, you're like, hey, man, what are you thinking? You're out of your mind. You're not quite intact with reality. So is that me? Am I really tripping that bad? Or do other people feel like I do? Okay. So here's how I feel. I felt like this was a 2-person race. I felt like this was a race between Heidi and Carolyn. I thought that Yam winning was just out of the, it just wasn't possible. So that might describe some of my confusion. I thought that him winning was just not plausible. It's just like Yam was funny. He was there for comic relief, but it's just no way, shape, or form that he can win the season over. Now, if he was standing next to, other players, 2 insignificant players, so be it. But I didn't see him winning over Heidi and Carolyn. And I'm thoroughly struggling to understand how this happened. Now, this is where you come in. You can explain to me, and I really need you to do this for me, please. You can explain to me what you saw that nets. What's up, Myra? Myra's in the building. You can explain to me. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, Myra. Hey, you can explain to me what about Yam's gameplay deserve a win. Help me understand, man, because I'm really struggling with this. This is not just a hey, Rick, you trip. No, I'm struggling to understand. Like if you could bullet point what Yam did to win the game, not what he did to make you feel good or what he did to make you laugh. Like what did he do to win? In my brain, what Yam did to win was he was a good person. He was funny. He was crucial to the Toka tribe surviving. This is real time thinking. I'm thinking in real time. He didn't win much. He didn't really win any challenges. Did he find any? He didn't really find any idols. Um, he was funny. Dude, I'm struggling. Help me understand. Like I'm completely confused. So if you're not quite sure, I pegged either Carson or Heidi to win this season. And that's before I even knew who they were uh as people. I didn't even know who Heidi or Carson were as individuals. And when I saw their gameplay and I got to know them, my belief that they should have won the game only strengthened because I said Heidi's an amazing female. She's a strong woman. Period. Screw the game of Survivor. Heidi is just a strong person. Period. And Carson, super brilliant, super intelligent. Screw the game of Survivor. Just brilliant and period. All right. Carolyn, loved her so much. Great personality, beautiful person. I got it. Yam Yam. I just don't understand. I don't. This might be the most confusing season of Survivor I've ever seen. Like I don't. You know what? When I saw the Yam Yam won, I said to myself, I might be done with Survivor. Maybe I've outgrown. Maybe Survivor has outgrown me. All right. I think that now we're in an era of Survivor that I probably can't partake because I'm like, what are we rewarding now? Like, what are we picking these days? What is the criteria for being a Survivor winner? I feel like I don't understand it anymore. Like, yeah, bro, sis, listen, this might be my last season Survivor, and I hate to say that, but it might just be. Maybe Survivor has become something that I can no longer identify with. I don't know how Yam Yam won. I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be doing a job here, but I feel like I'm just ranting on the obvious. Yam Yam won. I should be very congratulatory, and I just can't. I don't understand how he won. That's why I need you. So at the beginning of this episode, Lauren brings up the obvious. Carson is a threat. We saw that. Carson wins immunity in the award. Shout out to Carson. That's why I thought he was a huge threat. Carson takes Yam Yam to the sanctuary, which I thought was pretty interesting. I thought it was the perfect pick because I felt like if Carson took Carolyn, then that would have given Yam Yam an opportunity to scheme with Heidi. I thought that if he would have taken Heidi, that would have given Yam Yam and Carolyn an opportunity to scam and scheme. But he took Yam Yam, which I thought was the perfect pick at the time. The ladies worked to work Carolyn against Carson. So at this particular point, we're at the bottom five, and we see that um, they're really working Carolyn, that being Heidi and Lauren. They're really trying to skew things, saying, "Hey, so hey, I thought Carson was your number one. Carson is the person you saved a few weeks ago. Why didn't Carson take you?" So that happens, and then we get to the next challenge in which Lauren uh does pretty well, and then we get to what was it called, the tribal council, and we see something happen that is incredibly amazing to see. We see that Lauren, who already knows that she's pretty much going to lose, she's going to get voted out. But one thing that doesn't happen is that she goes out a loser. She actually becomes a survivor. Lauren has stated many times over the season that she's a single parent and this, and that, right? She doesn't get picked to go to the sanctuary with Carson because he chooses Yam Yam. And I think Lauren begins to see the writing on the wall. And one of the greatest things about watching this show, you see people go through these maturation processes. You see them go through these processes that make them become, strong. And Lauren goes through that particular arc where she comes on as a person no one saw as a threat whatsoever. And here she is in the bottom five, the top five. And, right in front of our eyes, we see this person turn into what we would probably identify as a survivor. So Lauren becomes a survivor right before our eyes. And it's one of the most beautiful things because she realizes that she is strong, that she is important, and that she does have what it takes to live this thing we call life. So seeing Lauren go through that process was invigorating. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful situation. But anyway, ultimately, Lauren gets voted out, and it's really sad because you saw a warrior who, we saw go through the entire arc of this game, and you see her finally figure out her purpose. One of the most important things that can happen to a person is for them to realize what they were put on this planet for, or for them to realize what their life can be or what their life should be. That's one of the most awesome things you can see as a person watching somebody else, watching them right there in real time realize who they are as a person. And I saw Lauren realize that no, she's not just this woman, just not just this girl. She's actually a survivor. She's strong. She's important. So that was beautiful to see. But moving forward, Heidi wins um the what is it called, the final immunity. All right, so we get to that awesome challenge that they have in Survivor. They've been using the same challenge for some time where they have to time the drops of their little cylinder, their little ball or whatever. And she wins that challenge, the final immunity challenge, and then it becomes who does Heidi send to make fire. And we know that Yam Yam is not going to go because we know that Jam Jam, whatever his name is, he's really good at making fire. We know that Carson will more than likely go because this episode shows us that Carson really struggles with making fire, right? As far as Carolyn, we also get the hint that Carolyn is pretty good at making fire. So the question becomes, will Heidi send Yam Yam or Carolyn in to take Carson out, or will Heidi take the challenge upon herself? That's basically the question that we have. So anyway, Jam Jam does something that I would argue is very controversial. And maybe this is why he wins. Maybe this is why he wins. Now, in hindsight, maybe God is trying to tell me something, right? Yam Yam helps Carson. He realizes that Carson is just really inept at making fire. He's not good at making fire. So what does Yam Jam do? He goes and he helps Carson make fire. He teaches him to make fire. And why do I find this to be an insane move? Because Jam Jam helping Carson to make fire could backfire in a way that would be astronomical, because Carson could take Yam Yam's skills that he's teaching him in real time and then use those skills to take Yam Yam out, right? That's my initial thought process. So Jam Jam's going to teach his own opponent how to win a game that they're both competing in, right? But that's not how it plays out. And you know what? Maybe maybe the morale of the story, or the moral of the story, is be a kind person, be a good person. Don't put money first. Jam Jam is the great exemplar of that particular sentiment. Why? He goes to Carson and teaches him how to make fire, despite the fact that he could be making fire against him. Right? And then anyway, ultimately Heidi chooses to make fire against Carson, and I just knew that was a great move. I thought that was a great move on Heidi's part. Don't allow anyone to make fire against Carson, because right now Carson is considered the strongest player in the game, and if you beat Carson, you win the game. That's what my brain said. Heidi has played a great game up until this point. Then on top of that, she beats Carson in a fire making challenge. Do you hear what I said? Heidi beats Carson in a fire making challenge. And not only that, she breaks the record and she becomes the record holder for the person who's made fire the fastest. So in my old and traditional survivor brain, I'm thinking to myself, Heidi chose herself to make fire against Carson, who was the strongest player in the game, in my opinion. And not only that, she beats him, and she beats him in record fashion. You automatically assume that Heidi is going to win the game. We get to the tribal council, the final tribal council, and Heidi, Carolyn, Yam Yam are making their case for the ultimate survivor. Okay, long story short, Jam Jam wins, but I cannot put my finger on why. He does make some compelling arguments at the final tribal council. All right, I saw all that, but what still doesn't make sense to me is why did they? And he won in spectacular fashion. He won with everyone's vote, with the exception of maybe one person. I think it was one person, Carson, if I'm not mistaken, who did not vote for Jam Jam. Carson voted for Heidi. So Jam Jam won almost unanimously. This is why I need people to help me understand, because My mindset only goes as far as my mindset allows it to go. Like I have limitations. Like my limitations say what I think is right? But then there's things that happen that defy my mental capacities. This is one of those things. I can't understand who watching this show would put Jam Jam over Heidi as a survivor. But here's where I would like to exploit my own shortcomings. First off, Jam Jam was a good person. We saw that when he helps Carson. Jam Jam was funny. So to me that tells me that charisma and being charismatic and being a source of happiness for people can be more important than your intensity. So maybe that's what it is. Being a source of happiness for other individuals can outweigh what you would call intensity. Like if you're really good at something, despite that, what people, if other people's vote is more important than what you can do for yourself, perhaps it would be smarter for you to be a source of happiness for those individuals than it would be for you to just be good at whatever you're competing at, because that's what it was. And this is going to be something I want to hold with me forever. It's not how good you are at something, it's how you radiate positivity to others. Mm, that's the answer. That's the answer. It's not how good you are at something. It's not that you're better than this person or better than that person at this or that or whatever. It's what you contribute to other people that matters ultimately. That's the answer. Congratulations, Jam Jam. Though I would not have picked you, I still would like to say that the numbers don't lie. And the numbers say Jam Jam is the winner. Shout out to Jam Jam. Thank you.